So, alright, I'm getting ready to put my patches up at Git. So I'm working through the more unusual solutions that have come up. I'm trying to get rid of them, actually. So, one point I was ready to put a package up for dbus glib and some other IRC2, and IRC2 just seemed to build without any reason. It was having problems with the headers, and now it just didn't complain, so it built. I don't know if it was because I had an earlier version of IRC2 installed or not, but okay. Then I did dbus glib, which would refuse to build, and that built without a problem. This is after I started using the new Zlib. A lot of things were like that they wouldn't build anymore, and then now they will. But not FFTW. That's something to do with the make file that I just haven't figured out. And then I started working on Git, and I said, I think I'd rather deliver this as patches rather than some complicated set of steps. I'll just bring down the header as a patch, and we're done. And then now, Git just seems to not to be able to find library network at the end, and I'm wondering whether I have the settings in such a way that for Pkgsrc here that maybe library BSD, and I've got, it's like I got every single setting that can shoot library network at it, just going at it, and just all guns a-blazing, and it just ain't working. I don't know why. I'm using substrate classes on the make file. I'm using LD flags. I'm going to look a little closer. And then I'm going to talk about actually something I found out that was good to know. It's how to actually get to use the Buildlink, how it works, and what it does. And based on the limited understanding I have, I at least know enough to be able that I was able to get LICQ core in the chat section to actually build, and that one I'd given up on. I was just going to provide a package for that. I was just starting to go, oh my god, I'm doing too many of these unusual. I got to slim these down. And what I learned from the boost headers was I was really wondering, why the hell is this thing taking so long to, and then last night in my video I said, hey, well, it's because it's putting all these thousands of headers in the Buildlink. And then I thought about it. I go, if for LICQ core, if it's not putting the headers in the Buildlink, it's not going to find the header. Okay. So I look, and there's no headers in the Buildlink. And so I thought, well, how am I going to deal with this? And then I remembered it depended on, it was looking for the library icon v header. And so now the answer, I uninstalled the Haiku's lib icon v. And, so then I added a Buildlink file, and I'll go through that to the make file for LICQ core, and I looked in the Buildlink directory, and there was the header, and it built. So I uninstalled the Haiku's lib icon v. So solve that, and I learned little bit more about Buildlink and what you can do. But now I'm just kind of wondering, could I be getting some install failures because I'm just not including a Buildlink, and why weren't they included in the first place? And or could I be getting better builds, or could there be builds that are using Haiku libraries, but would probably be better if I used my own libraries that I've built. Z library comes to mind when I think of that. Now I'm close to 2,000 packages in this thing. I've gone ahead, I've rebuilt Zlib 2 because I somehow got the idea that, well, Go object introspection just wasn't working, and I bet you it'll fail again. I'm just getting sick of it. I thought, well, what if Zlib 2, what if this thing actually, I thought to myself, well, what if it had linked with the Z libraries, and now the versioning information error isn't coming up? Because I've seen some errors that aren't really representative of what's really wrong. When FFTW errors out, it's looking for it says it's missing some object file, but the fact of the matter is it's looking for a live FFTW3.a file, So I know that some of these messages really don't represent what the problem is sometimes. And so I go, okay, well, let's just try rebuilding Zlib. I rebuilt it, did a bmake replace. I have no idea whether it links with the Z libraries or not. Maybe I could look at the make file to find out. These make files are so huge, especially when autoconf is involved. It's like, oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I don't see that it actually is. But if library elf or library FFI had, so you never, I don't know. Anyway, rebuild. I'm going to see what I don't think Go object inspection is going to rebuild here. I don't know why exactly. It built before, and it just says, "Oh, sorry, can't find the Zlib 2 library you just installed." I've seen that kind of thing happen before when it wasn't in the package list, and so Pkgsrc didn't actually deliver the library to where it's supposed to go, but I don't think that's the case here. I mean, it just isn't pathing. It's just strange. So anyway, I should probably get to what I found that's actually helpful instead of staring at there's a Zlib header in boot home package libraries. My God. And I already have object introspection installed because I installed it from the old package I have. Let's just get to this library IRC before I ramble too much and don't get to something that's actually important or helpful to other people. All right, so what was happening, just to review. When I was trying to build library ICQ core, which is in the chat section, it would fail during the configure stage saying, please install library icon V. And I would say, I've already installed library icon V. What's wrong with you? And then I tried everything in the book, all these settings on the outside, just nothing worked. And finally I just said, well, let's just see what happens if I install it from Haiku Depot. Then wham, bam, boom, zip, all of a sudden everything worked. Well, that really isn't the answer that I wanted, because I want to build things in package source, and I want to keep things coming in from Haiku at a minimum. I don't want to get in a situation where, okay, I built it in package source, but now I have this dependency for this other package. So first I got to build it in Haiku, and then when I'm done building in Haiku, I go back to package source, then I go back to Haiku. I don't want to get in that situation. I want to be able to actually decide what parts I'm using, and if it isn't in Haiku, how to pick it from here if I've already built it from here. So I looked at, I think libconv is a develop package. So I went in here to libconv. This is kind of the cool. There were some cool features that were added to package source recently. His name's Johnny Chung. If this will stop counting all 1900 packages and disobeying, I'll be able to go into libconv if it's actually here, because there's so many. Alright, so let's see, lib element op, great, like that. Like to be able to keep my space. Okay, lib I G H. Oh, must be in converters. There it is. There's libconv. Okay. You notice right there there's a file called buildlink3.make. I don't know what it has in it, but I did notice that when I went to look at one of the other packages that it needed the boost headers and couldn't find the boost headers. The package that I was building, while all the thousands of I wanted to see what that make file looked like. There it is again. Cannot find. Oh. Well, that's different now. That's library network. Yeah, so I gotta get co-object here. Okay. So I've made progress here. Hold on. The question is now, which one of these methods is going to work for library network? I could go in here. Let's see. Be a little bit more aggressive. Just use substitute classes. I don't doing this thing a lot. So I'm actually going to get a build, I think. All right. So getting back to the other thing, I looked at it and basically it had this. If I remember what that was building, it was a converter. But let's just get this. Too many subjects at the same time. Anyway, this is called a make. If I were just to type in -L network in the magic location, probably gonna need to save to look for socket or NSL or some crap like that. It's not there. Great. Does it have network? Well. What the hell is going on with that? It's got library network in the LD flags and it's not building. Why are we doing that? Oh god, this is like, okay, I'm gonna get back to this. Alright, so let's go to the converters. Source, show the example, what it was. It's not that big of a deal if I can just get to it. It was one of these ones. I think live ABW or something. Let me look. One of the boost headers. And damn it. Yeah, okay. This one wants the boost libraries, but it had something like this. It had boost headers actually. Buildlink, devel, boost headers, buildlink. This include thing here. So well, what? I wonder what would happen if I decided for this chat program called ICQ core, LICQ core. I'm going to get dizzy from all these different things. Here it is. From the make file, I look at it, and if I added a build link for boost headers. I did, then I looked in the folder, in the Buildlink folder, which is in the work directory. Don't even know if this is still there. Well, actually it is. What happens is, I look and there it is. There's my, is the header it was looking for, and sure as shit. Next time configure went through, it found it. I also saw some warning about it didn't have OpenSSL. So I decided it might be a good idea to include that build link, and I added that into the settings over here. They're now getting much more complicated than they used to be, but I think this is I put it in here. There's my, so I've added the build from the make file, and I saw that Diger did this before with something else. There you go, added it and it built. So that solved that issue. I was able to at least identify, I was able to look at the configure log and identify that it would error out when it was looking for the header for libbyconv. And my question is has anybody else tried to build this package? And if they did, they must have been on a system, and it must be actually finding, some people use NetBSD. Either libbyconv comes with NetBSD, or no one's complained about the fact it doesn't work if they don't have libbyconv already installed, or because NetBSD, when it uses Pkgsrc, it doesn't use it. It uses it as its package manager. It's not just some change root build environment, which makes a world of difference. So it isn't going to need this stuff here. But this build link helps with the portability of this tool set. So if I come across some other package, of course you can't do that with Library Network, but if I come across other packages that aren't finding headers, and I know of a package that provides that header, I can put the package in the build link and I will have the header, which is good to know. It also gives me a better idea of how to get things to work in a package. So that's the story with that. Now I'm getting back to this. I can figure out what I'm going to do. These are obviously... Oh, it seems like it's missing P threads. This seems to be... This get address info looks like it's get user ID struct case comp. That's strings. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. It looks like P thread isn't here. This looks like it's missing standard input. I mean, my God, look at all this stuff. But why did it build? How the hell did it get this far? Look at that. What's going on here? Look at all these undefined references. And library is needed. So I need to put library root. I'm going to see what's going to make this thing build, and I'll mess with settings because there obviously is more that I have to do here. And I don't remember having to do all that stuff before, but I want to get this thing solved. But then again, Git's turned out to be a big mystery. I mean, what the hell is going on with Git? Why am I not able to, yes, count all 1900 of them. Okay, so we want, this is the Pkgsrc directory. I'm looking for the work directory. Here's go out. Okay, so let's see what happens if I add somewhere in here. How about library root? And hopefully I didn't close the terminal. And I think I did. That's okay though. Because Pingo doesn't, it just died on toolchain wrappers. That's strange. Pulse audio. Oh, because it was building over here. God. What do I have open? Audio is just doing it. And I lost a whole bunch of builds when I had something screwed. And I remember what the hell was I doing? Go object introspection. I can't wait to get the pulse audio in System D in Haiku. I'm being a little bit facetious here, but I'm just building everything I can. I'm not here to make choices for other people. I'm here to find answers. Go object introspection. I don't remember if it had stopped. Or was it glibs? Or what the hell I was doing? Was it glib I was working on? Okay, so we got some undefined references once again. Get user ID. There's the same old stuff. Christ. Pthread. Oh, did I not put pthread in there? Well, let's add some more. Minus pthread. Just for good measure. Pulse audio seems to be going. What's this down here? This looks interesting. Oh, that's not going to work. I don't think so. This is the Qt4 libraries. I have not updated those patches, so it's just not going to work. More undefined references. Do it. Now, if I find out this is the makefile I was looking for, then I'll do something with it. Why is it just say, ah, damn it. It's like, okay, which makefile are we working with here? Is it the makefile symph, the repository? Which one is it actually? Is it the lib to the AM, the introspection? What is it? Something. I bet you all this stuff's gonna fail. Is this Pango? This might be Pango. I'm hoping I'll get Pango, but you know. It's a rough road. It is a really rough ride because the patch rate is so high. You put everything to get one thing at a time, you eventually can work it through. It just, where does the library network thing actually go? Where does, you know, you can tell it's missing library network, but then you gotta like get it to actually work. This looks like there's some, I know that's Pkgsrc CMP, that's, there we go, dead. No, now what, now what? This is symbol not found. That's fucking awesome. Now this Schmid thing, whatever the hell it is, I don't know. I'm just starting to think Haiku is a bad joke. Someone's gone to a lot of trouble to make sure that nothing will actually ever work. This is actually a shared memory deal, and with Cairo, I had to include. I had to basically download from Git a header, shm.h, or shared memory header, so Cairo would build. Now, Pingo is not complaining about, hey, I don't got an shm.h header. I'm just getting unresolved symbols left and right. Fucking A, man. Now here's the problem, and it could be this is the issue. This could be what I don't know enough about how this is built, this haiku here. But I'm gonna speculate. And I will say this is something before I start this is something I wanted to say. But something as complex with so many variables as an operating system. The best anybody of even any length or measure of intelligence, even Einstein, would be foolish to say anything like, I know what the solution is or what the problem actually is, because there's multiple dynamics that they're at play with this whole thing. So speculating, it's possible that Haiku isn't really being built in Haiku. Why am I saying that? I don't know. I just don't know. It's possible. And so I think what might be happening is that this is just complete speculation. And I have to speculate. I have no way to know. That the Zlib is being built in an operating system that can create the symbols for a Zlib, or the other parts of the operating system are being compiled in another environment, such to the extent that it doesn't matter that Zlib is being built with the symbols brought into it. The XML libraries seem to have something to do with Zlib's ability to be built with or without symbols. And the Zlib people have tried to put these symbols in at some point. They have problems with it every once in a while. Even Red Hat Enterprise had an issue where they shipped a Zlib that didn't have the symbols in it. Well, if you ship a Zlib that doesn't have the symbols in, you can't build or even run things that have symbols. Conversely, if the Zlib has symbols, you can't run anything that depends on the Zlib or build anything against the Zlib when it has the symbols, and if your thing doesn't. So and then when it links to something else, it kind of spreads these symbols around, and so you got this big mess. Some of the stuff has symbols, some of the stuff doesn't have symbols. Most of the time that's worked out because in most Linux, this doesn't become much of a problem in the most Linux distributions, I think, and this is all speculation. I mean, I have some basis for the opinion, but it could be wrong. It could be some completely different dynamic I don't even know about. The Linux distributions will build a fairly recent version of the XML libraries alongside with a fairly recent version of the Zlib, and so the XML will put the versioning symbols in the Zlib, and we're good. Zlib will still build without the versioning symbols, which annoys me. It shouldn't. I should say, sorry, we can't put the, if it's going to be, anyway, well, I don't know, that's controversial, I guess. I don't think you should have the frickin' symbols in there in the first place, okay? I think the problem is worse than the cure. Or the cure is worse than the cause. But anyway, so going back to this. So we have Cairo, which I don't know whether it was linked against Z libraries. And sometimes this unresolved symbol thing has nothing to do with the Z libraries. It's some other library. It's really a nondescript kind of error message. Sometimes, for example, I got this error when when a package tried to build and it wasn't finding it wasn't finding the Haiku header from Boost because it wasn't there. And it's always the same number. BUS at like a lot of numbers. This is the only number that comes up time and time again. Now this is saying the symbol is not found. Now what this seems to imply is Pango's trying to link up with the Z library that I now have in here. That now has the versioning symbols in it. Either it is yeah, or some other library that's linked up with Z that's got the symbols virus now that it has it. And now when some other library Cairo in this instance doesn't have so now I got to do the readelf thing and see, does library Cairo have the symbols in it? And if it does, and then I can do this big old census on all my libraries, which has symbols, which doesn't. Do I care if it has symbols? Oh, was this one dependent on Z libraries or not? It's like a big fucking mess. If I would have started out at the beginning using the Z library from Haiku with the symbols in it, all of them would have symbols, but then there's another issue that also could be at play here that has nothing to do with whether, at least it's possible. I mean, back in the early days, in fact, it's still in the source code for Z libraries that Z libraries, the BOS doesn't support the versioning symbols, and there's code in there for that. I had more success when I turned the versioning symbols off with the Z libraries that I built. Also, now that I have a little more choice, I don't know, I have to look at the Buildlink. What library is Cairo trying to actually link up with? Is it a Haiku library? Is it a library I built? What if I choose the Haiku library? Will it work out better? Will I not have the versioning thing? It's just, and Git isn't really telling me much. It's just kind of, it's just not linking at the end. And this is the, was the kind of thing that would prompt me. Is it flex? Is it, but you couldn't be flex because it built before that's one of the first things I did was built the flex. I didn't know about or try to substitute the Z library. So I could check, what I could do is I could play hopscotch. I can go in there and take my, the library Z without the versioning symbols and chuck it into boot home package, see if this thing builds. And if it does, then I'll know that's the deal, that basically I've got stuff that or it could just be that one of these files in Pango wants the shared memory header. When you get to stuff like this and the builds take a long time, you get problems. And so kind of like there's a couple basic things that people are going to want to know before they start building. How's their flex? Does their flex need to be configured? Is there symboling being used? And the people, people who put the Haiku together, are they checked? Or are we always using symbols? Are we using it sometimes? Does it matter if we're using it sometimes? So anyway, I'll just try this readelf thing. Okay, so it has versioning in this. That's strange. It's got a version from library PNG. Look at all this stuff. And you're just like, my God. Of course, pulse audio isn't really a big prize, but this is one of the dependencies for it. So what was it saying? Live Cairo cannot resolve the symbol SHMDT. I don't know why Pango. So it almost seems like Pango, the Pango engine wants the shared memory header that I'm going to have to patch in. I just got to guess. So Pango engine H. This is now an art instead of a science. So really, there's, where's this thing from? Pango Cairo, Pango engine. Might it be in the Pango directory? Yeah, then I get to, of course, since there's so many goddamn directories, you have to really find anything, you have to run a find by name, of course. I have to do this forever and ever. It takes so long. It's going to get more painful for me because, what is this thing? Pango, what is it called? It's Go Object Generator. This is the Pango engine. I'm just guessing it might need that header. Name. It's in the Pango directory. But since it's not an actual header, let's see, is there any... Some of these have a horrible habit of putting the headers in the bottom. It's just beautiful. I could try, but then I'd have to start over again. Oh, God. Where is that? So this right here is actually the patch. Which is really actually just a file. I already got this crap set aside over here, there, copy, and I don't even know if this is going to work. I want to include this damn, I got to make copy that, because I'm going to make a patch. Making a patch on guesswork, isn't that beautiful? Open with PE. I'm going to put read only, of course. That's just one other little annoyance. Okay, include shm.h. Again, any other person alive that would be as crazy to do as many things I've done just to try to get this damn thing to work. Let's duplicate it. Add the name. Of course, I shouldn't say that because it just ruins the work I'm doing. I'm supposed to just be doing this. Either I'm happy to do it or I'm not. Well, I'm happy to do it, but I have to complain. So I'm a strange creature. Alright. At the end of the day, though, I'd regret not doing this even though I'm complaining. If that wasn't clear, I don't know what isn't. Okay. Now with that, it's probably not going to rebuild, unfortunately, and of course I'm not in Pango, which is in development, which makes that even more confusing. Okay, Pango, is it there now? Yes, okay. It might try to restart it, or it may just try to do a failed link again. We'll see. Is it going to find anything new? Is it going to know that I've changed that source code? Or is it not going to know I changed the source Second of all, yes, I did include it, and yes, I did make it so it's patchable, but we'll see. It's doing something. I don't know if it. I don't know if it's redoing stuff or if I got past that. I just. You never know until it finally. Oh, there's a package, or oh, there's an error. Kind of the way things are. God damn it. I don't even know what director I'm in. I'm in a mini fritty bitty. Welcome to the mini fritty bitty. Mini fritty bitty. Now, usually it errors out quicker, but I'm not going to say anything. Alright, so my guess is there's something going on. If we were to use our own Zlib to try to build Haiku, we'd start getting errors. I'm just guessing that. I don't know. But then again, you kind of look, and if this happens to work, great. If it doesn't, then I'm still stuck going back saying, well, is it the Zlib? Is it the, well, And I'd rather have a clear way to know. I mean, sometimes there is no clear way to know. There really isn't. That's as clear as it gets. You just get a couple things you can try and go by experience. Oh, I remember this solution. This is where you had to put the skunk in the boiling pot of water on Halloween, or something like that. Pango kind as much non-success as I've had some success today, but I've also had a lot of frustrating non-success. Like, what's up with the Git? I mean, it's not working. It used to work, and now it's not working. Makes me think if I put my stuff up, people are gonna not be able to build Git, and how the hell would I do it then? This looks like it's gonna repeat. Oh shit. So that isn't it. Who knows, right? I could look in my old packages and see whether I could just cheat. See if I had to build a Pango, and if I did, well, I'll just install that. How's about that? How's about them apples? I don't think I'm gonna find it. Papaya and patch. Nope, don't have it. I have Pkgsrc, Gorilla, but not Pango. I could try doing the make patches. I could try to go back and try to rebuild like higher. Now it's got versioning. What I don't understand is it's got versioning information in it. In the Cairo there. You get these warnings about script engine lists. And it's unable to resolve the symbol schmidted. Now I could be missing a library. This is a desperate move, a desperate compiler. Go here, grep -r. Have grep search all the libraries until I get my schmidted. Okay, so that's Perl. But it's not a live pearl, is it? Now maybe if I put pearl in the build link, I'll get a build. Let's see if pearl's in the build link. Don't think that's the answer to my question. Let's see what's in the build link. Got a couple libraries in the build link. Now this library is Zlib. Go object here. See, now here's the deal. Here's the deal. See. Now the Go object inspection that I installed, maybe putting a monkey in my grease wheel. Because I don't know what. sysv.so. That isn't going to work. You see that? The reason. Maybe I should get rid of that. Well, GStreamer likes it. GStreamer didn't have a problem with it. So tell me, Pango, why do you got a problem with it? Okay? It's something to do with shared memory. That's one clue that I have here. I could also look and see if I could. In the best tradition of witch doctory, which libraries this makefile wants to link with. Now, this is an autoconf. Okay? And this autoconf, this. You see the AC local M4? Bad news. It may try to link up with libraries that are, well, haikus, when it would probably be better off to link up with the libraries that I've built. Now, there's something called the CPP flag and CL flag. You could try to do that stuff. Which is I hate it when these make so much crap. I mean, what is this? Next skip, yes. Transform. Install as, it's got so much crap in here. What I'm interested, what anybody's interested in, is something that looks like a link command. Okay? Now it looks like it's looking for boot home package library. Now, Cairo demands the shared memory. Let's see what we got here. Goodly God. Now, the Go object inspection was the one. It wants to link up that Go object. Pango is not going to work inside the Go object, but this is the Go object. it's got any offensive libraries in there, the Buildlink will take care of it. There's the Harf Buzz. There's the lintel. Got the library network. Export symbols. I don't like symbols. Symbols are giving me a headache. Those 2 patches are going to be worth crap if this thing builds. I do not know what a script engine list is. And we're going to fail again. Yes! Oh, alright, failed. Damn it. Still doesn't want to find this symbol. Resolve symbol. Schmizd. Not resolve symbol. Schmizd. Oh, Pingo, guess I'm gonna have to fire you. Well, you know, then I might get this thing built early, but then something else won't build. Just the way things kind of work, because we got this damn Z library. See, what happens is, with the Z libraries, I didn't get to, actually, in my whole little diatribe there, is that the current Z library won't have symbols versioning included in it if your XML is older than 1.4 or something like that. I haven't looked to see whether that's what they claim. That's what they claim. But is it true? What's this crap here, XFT? I don't know. Got rid of some more versioning crap, but I mean, why the hell would I want versioning anyway? If I could avoid this this shit. That looks familiar. It's gonna fail again. God damn it. Yeah, there it goes. Whoop-de-doo. So at the end of the day, you can do everything you think is right, but if there's something going on in the background and it points to something else, well, you're screwed. But I'm at a loss actually as to what I'll try library go object and see if it's got symboling information in there. But there's a lot of builds that just are not building and will not build because of this cascade of crap. You know, if you're able to put out Haiku because you're building it on another platform with the Z libraries in it to fuck up your thing, you know, you don't care about it until it happens to you. Okay. This thing here, I'm going to check it out. And there's no versioning. So that's why. The Cairo has the versioning. and the Go object doesn't, and it's trying to link the Go object. So I got to get rid of all those packages that I built on this Go object and hope that my rebuilt G library that I think has the version. Let's find out if that has the versioning. Why doesn't it? Because I just did a, that's glib 1. Where's glib 2? Where is glib 2? Maybe that's it. Got the versioning. So it's gonna give the Go object its versioning like the virus. But again, first we go, okay, package delete. No, I don't remember. All right. To rebuild those. Oh, great, it wants all those. And I thought those were made today, so. Oh my god. Oh, this wonderful cascade because. Oh, let's see. What version of library XML? I want to find out what the fucking cause of this stuff is, because it's pissing me off. That's 2. That shouldn't be the reason why the Zlib webpage was saying that if library XML was less than 1.4, it wouldn't be able to provide symbol, you know. So now I really have to wonder if the runtime loader is unable to build a Zlib with versioning information. Which really does mean that the hack that I did, you have to do. I don't know. I have no idea how the runtime loader works. Or if it actually assumes that the Zlibs can provide the versioning information, then what the fuck happens when you don't have Zlib? Oh, we don't care about that. You're supposed to use Haiku Porter. Well, go to hell. So yeah, I mean, you just have to really learn the hard way, I guess, in this platform. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, we might want to have to actually build Zlib. We might want to actually have to get the symboling stuff from the library XML. But then again, it could be something else. And that's the problem. You know, too many complicated things. And so all you can really do is just say what you see here. So I really wanted to build Pango, but if people are not able to build stuff because this kind of stuff's happening, I see why. At one point, I don't know why I still have to think about this. There was a bug report that was out for Haiku. And it started out where some guy said, "Hey, I'm no longer able to open up XZ archives in Haiku. And I looked at, the guy looked into it, and finally, the subject kept evolving. Then the guy that apparently builds all the stuff for the OS, he had to rebuild a whole bunch of stuff. And someone else said, "Oh, don't change the default locations of anything. Wait till after Alpha 3 is open." And I could tell it had something to do with this symboling thing, and the most important thing that could have been said about anything as far as guidance for people to understand what was going on is just to talk a little bit more about the dynamic of what the error actually means and how it interacts with other things. That wasn't gone into that much. It was just kind of discussed on the one subject, the one issue they were talking about this time. Well, it means that for this one package, versioning was used, and this other, or you built it against this other version over here, and then this other version over here. And the real thing is that the versioning symbols gotta be in there. And you gotta make sure that your tools will build stuff with versioning symbols. If that's the case, I am guessing, I really don't see that there's any kind of compile time option to disable or enable versioning symbols in Library Z. They don't go into that. This is just like, so what I'm going to have, it's almost like a GC, it's like a hybrid situation. I got this. Some of the stuff has symbols, some of them don't. Which could explain why later on the libraries weren't really being found. And it could just all be down to this one thing. I don't know. If I go to build Library Z right now on camera, I'm going to find that the end result is a version of Library Z that doesn't have the versioning symbols in it. And I have to really wonder what I have to do. Build my own LD? Do this? Perhaps I should. I don't. Another thing that actually, Haiku doesn't have LD, which really muddies the water up. So you don't really have a way, if things are not really pathing the way you want it, to compensate for that at all. And so it makes it more difficult to troubleshoot, actually. It doesn't really simplify anything. It isn't more user-friendly. It's really actually a defect, at least in my opinion. I mean, then again, there's other ideas and discussions, obviously, that took place where that opinion was not reached. So, who knows? Getting back to the whole thing, so it's kind of just odd. I've never really worked in a system where you're building stuff and some of the and then I'm focusing on the Zlib thing, and it could be something else. But that's the only thing that's really changed. I'm still going to have an issue here, because even if I were to replace my Library Z with one without versioning symbols, that Cairo has versioning symbols in it. So I'd have to rebuild Cairo. And, you either have to choose to build everything without the versioning symbols or everything with it, but you throw the autoconf in there, and if there's a package that builds and you don't know, get one or two packages in there that link up with Z and they link up with other things, you get these versioning symbols spreading like a freaking virus. you want to either have them or not. You want to have them either have them consistently or not consistently. And that's not what's happening. That's not the end result that I'm getting here. And so I'm really going to want to figure out some basic setting to make sure either library Z from Haiku is never used or always used. I'm starting to think I don't want it to be used because I'm not. Library Z doesn't link with itself, to add versioning symbols. I'm getting a lot of builds here, Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't matter if something like Pango that that you want to actually use is not going to build because of versioning symbols. I don't know, how do you work around that? I wonder if there's a way to work around missing versioning symbols. Workaround found. And that bug's just going to keep popping up time and time again. It's just one little thing in the open source world that is a problem. Every once in a while, versioning's not going to be in there. That's what I'm doing over here in the audio. Complaining a lot, but let's see. I mean, I do have a Git build, but I got to ask me, well, what do I put up there? A Git. Are they going to be able to build the Git, or they're not going to be able to build the Git? Is it because I have too many of the library networks going to the Git, or what? This all looks like, again here with the glib, but then it's can't resolve the libraries. Just don't know what's going on there. Didn't have this problem before. Didn't have to do much of anything. It's just like you're playing, what is it, 3-card Monte or something with this operating system. But I think I'm doing better. Most of the categories I'm doing better than I was before. I don't think I had this many packages in the audio category. Audio, let's see, we're close to 70 here. I had 94 before. I don't think anything new coming up here. It's like it's like one of these grinds that just doesn't stop. They're almost looking the same to me. Okay, Amarok, I didn't have that. Didn't have C-Play. Cripple, I think I had. Didn't have C-Sound. Oh, no, I did. just manual. Couldn't have easy stream. So overall, things are going a little bit better, and this is with strings actually. I'm running a system here, you know, where I have to look at it. Oh, there's Chris comp. Okay, go fix it. I did that with HarfBuzz. Anyway, so I'm taking a long. I'm just gonna upload my stuff, and I think that I'm gonna keep things the way they were. As far as Git's concerned, I think I should keep things. I don't even know. It should work just as well as the other one. I brought down the header down to. So what I really have is, okay, so the unusual solutions I have in my repository now is that I have a package for Go object introspection, which I'm not even sure if it's a good idea to use. Zlib, I got a binary with symbols included. Python, I got a package up there. For SpiderMonkey, I leave a note saying, hey, you got to change the name of a file or it won't build. For FFTW, I got a .a file. Library PCAP, I don't even know if I need that extra make file, but I seem to remember that I did. I wouldn't have made a note if I didn't need it the day earlier, so I don't have it. I don't think I'm using configure to get it to build. And for net P5 socket 6, I have you put some of the homemade headers and the boot home package include, like I have with Gitbase. I haven't turned that into patches. I've got an unexplained build of IRC2 and an unexplained broken build of Gitbase. Now I'm getting the symbols issue again, but I'm getting a better overall set of numbers. So, and I'm getting more patches up. So, you know, let's keep going. Which is so disappointing that something like Pango, that is somewhat major, and probably every freaking browser is going to want Pango. Without that, it's too. And no patching I'm going to do is going to resolve the actual problem that exists, in that I have some packages that have symbols and some don't. And so the price I paid for installing that Go object introspection, I'm probably going to have to undo that. It's probably not going to be even for this weekend. Today's Tuesday. And the more I build, the more I'm going to have to reverse, actually. It's a real horrible catch-22, and I'm actually really annoyed that the Zlib people put that in there. Some guy did a paper on how he thought that it was going to be a real problem for a lot of open source projects with the Zlib thing. It just seems like it spread like a virus. And it's okay to have if there may be some benefits if everything's gonna use them, but if they're not, then But at least I found something out with the Buildlink, so I'm learning a little bit more about Pkgsrc, so that'll be helpful. Probably gonna need to go in and undo all those packages that have my replacement Go object here, but I don't even think I should put that up. It should just build. And the strange thing about it is that it didn't just build even before I had swapped out the Zlib library. And the big problem is, and Haiku's got a lot of older software in there. And if some of my stuff starts building against that older software, you know, when they make Zlib, they're not going to test it against library XML, even, 1.9 if that exists, They may have made a note at some point that 1.4 didn't work, but it may actually be 1.9 or a few here and there. They're going to test it against everything. you know, they're not gonna. A lot of these people that make this new software isn't gonna test their stuff against GCC2. They're just gonna test their stuff. Oh, it works. It built in GCC4. They don't even consider GCC2. So now looking back, I wish I would have started out and used the Zlib first off. I really have to. I wonder if I could. I don't know how many library files I have. Even if I had enough time to make a script to check all these to see which ones have versioning and which ones don't. It would take me a long time to make such a thing and then to look through them all. What a nightmare. But I keep getting builds, so okay, that's my status right now, and I'll stop.